This is infrared sensor footage labeled by its uploader as May 5th, 2020 Gulf of Arabia call sign platform, dual UAP. The clip was recorded in 2020 in the CENTCOM area of responsibility and was uploaded to a classified network in May of that year. In 2026, the Department of War provided this material to the public as part of the Pursue release after a congressional request for potentially UAP-related records. On March 6, 2026, 8 members of the United States House of Representatives asked for access to a set of 51 records. The all-domain Anomaly Resolution Office ARRO identified a collection of responsive materials on a classified network. ARRO notes that many items in this collection lack a substantiated chain of custody, which limits how confidently analysts can tie the images to a particular sensor or platform. In the active portion of the clip, the sensor is focused on an area of thermal contrast over open water. Early in the footage, the view tightens, and what first looks like a single area of contrast resolves into multiple distinct areas. The sensor zooms in further and pans to keep those spots in frame. At higher magnification, the bright and dark regions become clearer, and they move in and out of the field of view as the platform tracks them. The camera pulls back at one point, then returns to a close view where the same small thermal areas reappear and again shift relative to the background. Eventually, the tracked areas drift toward the lower right and leave the frame. After that active sequence, the remainder of the recording contains no visible targets for almost 3 minutes, a long gap that leaves only the earlier few dozen seconds for close inspection. Within the metadata, ARRO describes this as likely derived from an infrared sensor aboard a United States military platform operating in CENTCOM in 2020. The uploader defined title and the timing of the upload aboard a classified network are recorded, but the Archivo chain of custody is not fully established for many items in the collection. That lack of provenance is an important constraint. It means analysts must be cautious when trying to characterize what the sensor observed or to reconstruct precise sensor geometry. What makes this clip notable is less any dramatic motion, and more the combination of small, distinct thermal contrasts tracked by a military sensor and the procedural uncertainty around the files themselves. The footage shows repeated sensor zoom and pan activity that keeps the contrasts in frame and does not present obvious conventional aircraft signatures within the visible sequence. At the same time, ARRO points out that similar titled files exist in the archive and that 2 such files share highly similar subject matter while remaining distinct entries. This video does not come with a comprehensive investigative conclusion attached to it in the public record. The Department of War provided the clip as part of the Pursue release, and ARRO supplied an assessment of origin and custody, but the agency explicitly refrains from declaring the nature of the objects. That restraint reflects both the limits of what can be known from a short infrared recording and the additional uncertainty introduced when chain of custody is incomplete. For viewers interested in following this incident further, the useful next step is the case file and the associated entries in the public archive. Those records collect the uploader-defined title, the ARRO assessment, the platform context, and notes about chain of custody alongside related materials with similar imagery. The archive also links to organizational releases and to broader discussions of UAP reporting practices and analytical limits. Explore the case file-related footage and sighting reports along with our weekly UAP News podcast at UAPDrop.com.